Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Global Domination. I am so excited to have Lorre Wilson, who hails from the great state of West Virginia, here today as our special guest. Welcome, Lorre Wilson.
Thank you.
So, Lorre, how long have you been in real estate?
Licensed since 2010. My primary state is West Virginia. Of course, got licensed there first. And then after a few years, got licensed in Ohio. And then after that, became licensed in Kentucky.
Wow. So you're serving all the tri-state areas. You're going all the way from, because you're, on the edge of Kentucky, basically, in West Virginia, but you're servicing business all the way through Lexington, right? Lexington, Kentucky?
Right. Yeah. I typically go to Moorhead, Kentucky. And then I circle up toward Marietta, Ohio, Parkersburg, West Virginia, cut across towards Snowshoe, West Virginia, which is a resort area, cut down to southern West Virginia. And then, of course, that encompasses Ohio, like Gallipolis, Proctorville, Crown City, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, those areas.
Okay, so I know you're going to kill me, but we're going to dive in deep because I love this story. So, way back in the day, well, not that far back, but was it 1987?
Mm-hmm. Oh, 85.
When 1985.
I was a wee babe.
1985. I think this is a cool story for us women because, I was never in the pageants, but you were, and you made it all the way to Miss West Virginia.
Well, right. I was a very, very shy child, extremely shy. And so my parents were trying to find a way to get me out of that,
get out of your shell.
Right. And so some friends of my parents suggested to put me in modeling classes, and the modeling instructor was into pageants. And so it just evolved from there. And so I ended up competing in pageants and won Miss West Virginia USA. So I competed in the Miss USA pageant in 1985. And then after that, and was married, then I competed in the Mrs. America pageant after that in 1989. And, it's really funny. People, I think there's a stereotype for a lot of women that come with pageants, but, it really did a lot of good for me. It brought me to where I am now. It required me to have a lot of self-examination. It requires women to begin to have opinions about things, about, the economy and the way things work in the world, and to decide to have opinions on things and to give themselves direction and goals. And so it's not just about the beauty part of it, although that is an aspect, but it also requires you to have a brain to go along with it. So it worked out well for me, and it gave me a lot of confidence. And now, rather than being so painfully shy, I'm the opposite. It's just hard to make me shut up.
That's awesome. No, but I love that because, when you're in sales, obviously you have to have no fear, and I always used to, back in the day, this was so funny. And for some of those that are going to watch this, they're going to remember this and go, she made me do that. But, when I owned my own independent brokerage, I started in 1999 in real estate and opened my first company at the end of 1999. And I, coming from the background of for fun, nothing professional, but I used to perform in college. I worked my way through college by playing music, playing guitar, singing in weddings, all of these things. And so, I was like a wedding singer and all this stuff, to earn money when I was in college. And so for me, being on that stage, because I was a shy kid too, but that's what got me out of my shell and where I have no fear today. So I used to, agents that would reach out to me and say, look, I want to learn from you, or I want to be with your, I want to be at your brokerage. I was like, okay. And I'd tell them to meet me at a certain place on a certain night. And I'd say, I want to see if you can get up and sing, pick a song. I'd take them to karaoke and make them sing a song. Actually, my husband auditioned to date me by singing a song because he knew how important that was, because if you have that ability, it doesn't matter if you're good or not. I mean, it's not about being a professional
Oh,
singer,
no.
but if
Right.
you have the no
Right.
fear, then,
Mhm.
you feel like you can accomplish anything. And that's what makes
Absolutely.
people reach out and build their business.
Well, I can't sing. I
Heard
can't
you
sing.
sing.
I'm horrible. But it doesn't matter because and I love how you equate that because it's so true. Going through the experiences that I went through and like you said with singing and playing guitar and performing, it taught me that it's okay to fail. It's okay that I don't have to be perfect. Even with real estate and what we do for a living, I don't have to be perfect. Now, do I want to be good at what I do? Absolutely. It's a goal of mine. I want to be the best, but I also know that there's a realistic part of this. And I'm not afraid to make mistakes. I'm not
Mhm.
afraid to throw the spaghetti at the wall and and try something different.
Yeah,
And that's what I love about the company that we work for. It's different.
absolutely. Well, yeah, and it's crazy, but I equate that too to today. Look at the agents that are excelling in a big way, the mega producers. What are they utilizing? What platforms are they utilizing to grow their business? And
Mhm.
let's face it, you've done phenomenal at this. It's something I wish I could do better of. But you are always on Instagram. You're always educating the consumers. You're always talking real estate, but you're in front of them. You're also showing your personal side. And so
Mhm.
you've done that really well to grow your business. And you've been doing social media pretty seriously
Oh,
for the past 6, 7 years.
gosh, I don't know. I don't know how long I've been doing it. I do know that when going back to the pageant aspect of my life, before I got into real estate, I owned a pageant franchise. I owned the Mrs. West Virginia America pageant franchise. And that was right when Facebook started.
Okay.
So I knew that I didn't have a budget. I had no money. So I knew that if I was going to grow something, I had to network. And so I used Facebook to do that. And I did the same thing. I took that experience and I did the same thing to grow my real estate business. I had
Yeah.
no money to start. So I knew I had to try everything that was free. I did everything that was free. Even back then, putting my name in yellow pages was free. And so I used Facebook, I used Yellow Pages, I did all of those things. And so then Instagram came along, and then I don't know what came next. I just thought, okay, that's there. I have to do it. I felt like I never had a choice. But I also know that you know people want to know that we're just like they are. We live in the communities that we work in. We experience the same things they do. We don't like the potholes at Main Street and First, just like they don't. We love the ice cream stand down the street. So I think it's important to share those things on social media. And I try really hard to stay away from anything negative because negative is too easy for everyone.
Exactly. No opinion there. Yeah. You
Yeah.
don't need to comment on everything that's happening in the world. You just need to
Right.
show the personalization because clients resonate to you because when they meet you in the flesh, they already know you because they're
Mhm.
getting to know you by watching on social media. And I think that's a huge lesson for agents that aren't encompassing that because like you said, you don't even have to have a budget to do that. It's just your
Oh, no.
time and your effort and very
Mhm.
little at that. It's not like, everybody thinks, oh, well, I got to have a videographer and then I got to have an
Right.
editor and then I got to have this and I have
Mhm.
that. But you're doing it all yourself. And a lot of times
Mhm.
you're in your car driving down the road, so you're
Right.
utilizing that time to connect with your audience.
Right. I just look at it as an opportunity. And at one point, I did hire a social media company, and they did a great job. But I also realized that, first of all, they used to tell they said, look, you have to stop because you're ruining the algorithm that they were creating because I couldn't help myself. And so finally I was like, look, I love you guys and I appreciate, and I know you guys are the expert on this, but I can't help it. I love to do it. And so I don't have a rhyme or reason. I just do it because I enjoy it. And And so, I'm not an expert at it, and I'm sure that there are more successful people that at it, but so what? I don't, I'm a rule follower, but at the same time, I also feel very strongly of following your gut too. So,
no fear, no fear.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Who cares?
Who cares what you look like? Who cares if you forgot to apply makeup? It's okay.
Yeah.
Because our clients and potential clients go through those same thoughts, and they
Absolutely.
like it when they can relate and say, well, look, she didn't put her lipstick on either.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have I left the house and I've had my house shoes on to go show property? I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
So, Lorre, I'm sure everyone's wondering, how did these two meet? Stephanie's in Louisville, Kentucky. Lorre is in West Virginia. How did these two meet? So let's share, because that's a good story. So,
yeah, I want to hear your version.
5 years ago, EXP had not opened in West Virginia.
Right.
And I'll never forget this. The president of the company reached out and said, look, find somebody in West Virginia. Let's get this last state open. It's the only state that EXP Realty is not in. We're not open there. We were everywhere else. And so this was 2018. 2018. And I got to give kudos to Sam, because my husband, Sam Griffin, he was helping, because West Virginia was a little bit of a different, I always felt like, and West Virginia is amazing, but I always felt like when I was doing some research and reaching out to broker owners, reaching out to, managing brokers, different people, because obviously we needed a broker to get the state open. So we were looking for high caliber knowledge, powerhouses to truly represent this brand. And I just remember, out of all these phone calls I made, I was like, gosh, I think I need a passport to talk to people in West Virginia, stealing the line from the movie, Sweet Home Alabama, because I was just stumbling upon people that were just not forward thinkers. Right. And it was obviously who I was calling, but there wasn't that forward thinking. And I remember Sam going, Stephanie, I found this person. She's got the energy. She's got the knowledge. She's at a large, independently owned brokerage, but it was a large one. Right. And you need to talk to her. And so we did. We talked.
We did. We talked for probably 2.5 months. And actually, you talked to my husband more than you talked to me.
I did. Which your husband is tremendous. I mean, we're talking, he is the ER surgeon. He can fix anybody from anything, from you name it. So, highly intelligent man.
Yeah. And he has his MBA as well. And so he was the one that really told me, look, if you don't do this, somebody else will. And for me, I'm going to say what all agents say. Oh, I love my broker. I did love my broker. I still love that broker. And that broker and I are still really good friends. And I still can call that broker for most anything. But it wasn't about being friends. It was about opportunity, and it was about my business and my life. And when I got my broker's license, I had no intentions of being a broker. I only got my broker's license to have in my back pocket if I ever needed it. I had no desire. I was doing very well where I was. I was very happy where I was. And that's what agents say all the time, don't they? I mean, they all say, I'm happy here. I don't need to.
I'm not looking to make a change. I'm not looking to make a change.
And I wasn't either. But I will say this. I also knew that where I was, there was a ceiling for me. And I knew that everything I had in my head that I wanted to accomplish, I couldn't personally do anymore, because I didn't have the finances and I didn't have the contacts to do the things that I had in here that I wanted to do, or even had in here. I knew there was more out there. And so when you and Sam called and we started talking, that was the door for me. That was, okay, this is what I've always wanted to do. Yeah. This company is offering me everything that I want. And so we did. We opened, and it was me and one agent, and I brought my assistant with me, and I was the broker for, well, until a year ago.
Yeah.
And we grew to 130 agents around the state. And then I felt like I had accomplished what I wanted to accomplish, checked that box off, and now I'm an agent again, and I'm really liking that.
Yeah.
And I joined your commercial team, which I love that. It's really a different commercial, is so different, and it's really hard as a residential agent to break into that. But I like the challenge, and I think that's why, one of the reasons why I chose to come to EXPs, because I always like trying something different, and I like a challenge. And so, being on the commercial team is really awesome. It's really, I'm learning so much, so much.
Let's talk back about, the what were you, a 70-30 split at the other?
Well, it was an 80-20 split, but there was no cap. I mean, that's what I did all the time.
You always gave them 20% of every deal.
Always gave them 20%. There was no opportunity to do anything else. There was no technology. There was no direct deposit. Something very simple. When I had a closing, I had a big thick folder that I brought in and laid on the broker's desk. It was just we had floor duty. So if I mean, people just don't work. The public just doesn't work that way anymore.
No. See, I love that you said that, because you're right. The public doesn't work that way anymore.
Right.
And I think too, with West Virginia is a phenomenal. I mean, hey, it's a place, they're open for business, right? They love growth. Right. They like innovation. A lot of great things are coming out of West Virginia and the surrounding states. But, I always, what I say to agents is, okay, you're in real estate, and building wealth isn't always selling more, although we all want to sell more. So you've got to have the access to tools. Right. And that's how you scale your business. You also have to have access to people, network, right? Everything we do is about networking, whether it's with consumers, clients, potential clients, people, other people in the industry, whatever. That's where business come from. Most of and this, Lorre, a lot of our commercial business comes from referrals inside of EXP. And so we've been able to scale just by meeting people across this country and other countries.
Well, a lot of my residential now is referral. I mean, it's using Workplace, and people will say, I need an agent in such and such a city. And a lot of times I have to Google, where in the world is that? Yeah. And if it's within my, radar, then I reach out for that. But, it's just, I love the referral opportunity. And, I don't know, it's just a different culture to work in as well. I feel like, the agent support is definitely there. And one of the things that a lot of people would say to me too, and I want to mention this because in West Virginia, the law requires the brokerages to have a brick and mortar office. Okay. And that's interesting to me, because talking about the public and how the public doesn't care. I mean, the public doesn't care where the office is, right? That office is empty. Yeah. Because no one knocks on the door. No, unless there's a delivery. I mean, there's no one knocks on the door. People don't knock on the door and say, "Hey, I want to buy a house" anymore. Right. Because they're using this. Right. They're not their phone. They're not knocking on the door. And then if they need their broker, if agents need their broker, they're picking up the phone. And so it's just, that's just the way our world is now. It's that's just right. It's just not the way it was even when I got my license in 2010.
That's
And
right.
you got your license when?
1999. I mean, lots of so much
Yeah.
has changed. But we're shopping online now,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm one of the few people that really, really try to buy 100% of everything
Mm-hmm.
online just because I don't have time to go to, I can't stand to fight the traffic. I can't stand, I just would rather just get
Right.
it done. Just
Right.
at my fingertips.
Right.
I like easy things. We order our cars online these days with,
Right.
even if we need a ride to the airport, right? Everything's being done online. And so
Yes.
that is how the public and the world
Mhm.
works. I mean, how many times do your clients these days go to the mortgage person's office and fill out
Oh,
paperwork? It's done
never.
online.
And honestly, the public doesn't even care who we work for.
Yeah,
It's the agents, and this is the thing. It's what's best for the agent. That the agents care who they work for.
right.
And I'm going to always work for a brokerage that's best for me. This is a business decision. I am in business for myself, and I'm going to be what's best for me and my family.
Yeah.
And because the public doesn't care, they don't care. As long as they get the best of me, they don't care.
You and I are both what EXP calls icon agents.
Yes.
Icon is phenomenal because let's explain Icon because Icon, EXP is an 80-20 split with a $16,000 cap. So you never pay EXP more than your $16,000 each year.
Right.
But Icon, certain production limits, closing 20 more transactions after you cap, or either
Mhm.
or, making a $500,000 in GCI,
Right.
we get our cap back in stock,
Right.
which is amazing. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Have you ever looked up what your stock from 2018 getting that back is worth? I mean, so much
Well,
more.
yeah. I mean, it's my retirement. I
Yeah,
never had that before. I
right.
mean, what as an independent contractor, what companies actually make you a partner and you have a retirement? So for people who don't know what a 1099 employee is, you're not an employee, first of all, and you are in business for yourself. So I'm the store and I'm responsible for me and everything about the business. So I don't have insurance. If most people, you don't have insurance because I don't have an employer that provides it. I don't have retirement. I don't have a 401k. I don't have savings plan. I don't have any of those things. So our company, however, gives our agents the opportunity to buy stock at a discount and earn stock if we want to. And that's what I consider my retirement. And then we have a passive income of revenue share if we so inclined to do that. And then we have a partnership with a medical insurance company if you need insurance. So
Which is tremendous because I'm going to say, to being an independent contractor my entire adult life, I was paying 5 years ago well over $1,400 a month for my family. EXP's insurance is less than $700 a month, and it's better than what I had.
Well, that's what I've heard. I mean, I'm blessed. My husband has
Yeah.
insurance. I'm blessed with that. I've never had to worry about that, but I have heard that about, and I think it's Clearwater. Is it Clearwater?
It is Clearwater,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard
Yeah.
it's very good. I've heard it's
Lorre,
very good.
since joining EXP, aside from, you were always doing the social media, but aside from that, how has your business changed by being affiliated with EXP?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you this. When I came to EXP, it opened up the global doors, it opened up the national doors, and I stopped thinking. Now, yes, local community, that's everything in our business, but it also allowed me to see and view globally, nationally, statewide how the rest of the world and state works. And it also allowed me to feel like I could expand my business. So for example, when I talk about Snowshoe, it's a ski resort area. It's 3 hours away from me. And I choose to go there. And I choose to go there for several reasons. One is because business is great there. Number one. Number two, I love the drive up there. And once I get there, it's amazing. It's beautiful. So my husband and I just make a weekend out of it. We just go and spend the weekend. I show property. We eat dinner. We have a good time, and we come home. It's great. I love it. But if it wouldn't have been for EXP, I would not have felt like I could
expand out of your neighborhood.
Right. Yes. Right. And so no, now would I go to other parts of the state? Probably not. It's just, I'm choosing to do that. I'm making a conscientious effort for that. And so that really allowed me to open up my business to more than just here. And so, for a lot of real estate agents, after the interest rates went up, their business slowed down. So there are a lot of people who got into this business when it was going crazy, and now they're getting out because it's slowed down. Well, in my opinion, it's just going back to the way it was before.
Right.
COVID. So, but now too, my business really hasn't slowed down that much. I mean, because I work all the time at it as well. So, and I've expanded the area that I work in because I want to.
Yeah. Well, why not? I mean, that's what EXP's done for me as well. It's instead of saying, well, what's your market? And me answering Louisville, Kentucky. Now people ask me that and I say the globe, because that's the truth. I mean, that's what global domination is all about, is you don't have to, but the opportunity is there. If I want to do business in all 50 states, I have that opportunity today to do so. Right. If I want to do business in 24 other countries and EXP keeps growing, it's going to be opening in more, I have the opportunity to do so. And that's what I love about it is that I am no longer hindered in any way because of what's happening in my market. Because if my market falls out, I got all these other markets that I can go do business in. Right. You don't have to, but that's the way I choose to live these days, because I'm not trying to just have a real estate career. I'm building a real estate legacy that's going to pass on a business, right?
It's true business. I mean, it's because because our brokers are statewide brokers.
Yeah.
So the West Virginia broker is a member. We have like 15 boards and MLSs in West Virginia, and she's a member of, I think, all of them. So if I wanted to join one, she's already a member. So for people that don't realize it, your broker has to be a member of the board and MLS that you are a member of. Yeah. So most brokers are more local areas. So most brokers, like the previous brokerage I was with, he was a member of Huntington, Kanawha Valley, and that was it. And so if I wanted to go to Snowshoe, he had to agree to join that board in MLS so that I could work there.
Right.
But she's already a member. So, and same way in Kentucky, Elizabeth is a member of everything already. So, there's and the only borders we have is just our licensure borders. So, and that's amazing.
Absolutely. Well, we do these masterminds all the time. We're not only is there all the training and education going on in EXP world, which to me, honestly, I'm gonna say that right there. I love the split. I love earning all the stock I earn. I love the revenue share piece. I love the opportunities on every which way to make money, because there's not just one way earning commission. Right. There's multiple ways to make money at EXP, and I love all of them. But what was eye-opening for me was, obviously I'd been in the business 20 years prior to moving my entire brokerage over to EXP. What I love is the ability for any agent to tap into what these mega agents are doing across the country, because they're every single day teaching all of us what works in their business and then showing us how to apply it. And so when agents reach out to me and they say, my business is slowed, I always say, well, what are you doing to make it grow, to make it move faster? And they don't have an answer because they don't have anything to plug into. And here it's overwhelming how much there is to plug into.
And it's free.
It's absolutely
free. Absolutely. It's all free. iConversations every Friday, EXP University. I don't know whether 50 or 60 classes a week online. Even
over 80 hours.
KV Core. I mean, there's classes there. I mean, it's ridiculous, and all of the things you can do to arm yourself and put in your toolbox to grow your business. It's really ridiculous. And if you can't make money at EXP, then it's you. It's not the company.
That's right.
And so I tell agents that all the time. You know, you have the opportunity here. But one thing about the revenue share and the passive income that I like to talk about is that when I was the broker during COVID, there was one agent in particular that had COVID, and he was in the hospital. He was intubated. He was in a coma for 3 months. Then he was in rehab for 2 months. So that's 5 months that he could not work. But he had revenue share and he had stock.
That's right.
So he had money for his family to make his house payment.
Yeah.
And that was pretty powerful for him. And it changed it just changed everything for him.
It's powerful for us all. You know, that was one of the reasons why when EXP found me and I saw the model, it made sense. It made sense to bring my brokerage over to it because that was always my big fear. I lived with that fear of if something happens to me, my brokerage has to close. But who's going to continue to make sure my kids live this lifestyle that they're accommodated to, you know?
Right. And I'm not sure if EXP still has the policy or not, but at one time they had a policy that if your kids were licensed,
you don't have to be licensed anymore.
They get, is it the
revenue share? Yeah, you will your stock, you will your revenue share right to your family, and there is no license any longer. So it's great.
As a beneficiary, right?
Correct. They're the so they collect it just like you did as. Yeah, it's phenomenal. And, you know, that's game changing. And there's agents that say, well, I don't want to be a recruiter. Well, it's not about being a recruiter. We're all storytellers. We're all storytellers. We can all tell the story and show why our business has scaled, why we experience global domination, why they can too. And that's really what it takes, because it's like once you see it, you can't unsee it, number one. And number two, there's nothing else out there that creates this level of wealth while selling real estate. There's nothing else out there.
Well, and let me tell you, if other brokerages say they don't agent attract, they're lying. They do. Everybody does. Yeah. Everybody does. The only difference is that EXP does it and it benefits the agent. A lot of brokerages will give agents a bonus, a one-time bonus, but they don't continue to give them a share of the company profit.
Yeah.
Not the agent profit, company money. It's company money that comes to the agent. So
that's right. Well, Lorre, I appreciate you being on here today. You are amazing. I love this. I got to say this. I love this company because I've met so many amazing people, friends, family across the entire globe now, being with EXP. And so, everything happens for a reason. So if anybody's watching this and wants to reach out to Lorre or myself, please do. We'd love to have a one-on-one with you. We'd love to share. This is a company of collaboration, and we're not winning unless we all win together. So thanks for being on, Lorre.
Thank you.
Thanks.